but yeah, NVIDIA was forced. They were ransomware into like open sourcing their GPU drivers, and then they hacked their hackers back or something like that, which I'm not sure how true that is. And then a little while later, they came out and like air quotes open source their drivers, but the group responsible already released a bunch of source code on the internet anyways. Why did that? So it's they kind of they kind of did it in a fuck you sort of way though. The NVIDIA released open source drivers, but it's a very for like a very limited set of GPUs. They're still being assholes about it. But yeah, I just okay. So when I was looking at it and trying to figure out like, okay, why is it that why is everything so terrible? Why is there all this church jargon and terminology so awful when it comes to just understanding what's happening under the hood with single instruction, multiple data, or like NVIDIA C, and why can't I just get more granular control over these devices? All I want to do is math with this. So I want to do math and statistics, Bayesian statistical application. Why don't we have a like, you know, a basic Bayesian statistical toolkit that isn't just tacked on to a pre-existing frequentist statistical software package like R or something? Why can't it just be that? And then, like, further, why do we have to use Silicon Valley's like approved frameworks and programming paradigms? Why can't we just have really straightforward, um, like deep learning libraries, machine learning deep learning libraries that are just not bloated and nonsensical? And then I went further and further down that rabbit hole, and I found out like how bad it is and how like devolved we all are, and how even assembly now is interpreted. Um, I think I kind of already did, and that's they just sort of like like MIB wiped my memory. I vaguely remember something about SAIC and illegal human brain experimentation in South America. May or may not have been like, you know, they may or may not have been involved with PRC and then used the fact that PRC was there as an excuse to obfuscate their involvement. Like, and they try to cover up with like crazy stuff like, you know, Rosicrucian nonsense and like um, Project Jedi, MK Ultra, you know, the usual rigmarole. Um, what's it called? Remote viewing, you know, or like something Yuri Geller would spout nonsense about. Try to make it seem like I had something to do with all that when really it was. Um, I don't trust Jessica Oots' statistical work, not because I think any like less of her, but she is a frequentist statistician, and I have serious qualms with her epistemic justifications for probability theory and the central limit theorem. I don't think those things, the way that the frequentists do those things, it's not a trivial issue, and it gets even worse when you create a what you basically have is a series of like statistical models that the law, like the federal court system, recognizes as valid, more or less to excuse their their blatant gamification. So they just took Fisher and Pearson models, which were already flawed in my opinion from the get go, like on that level that I just talked about, and then purposely took like the worst straw managed version of this already flawed paradigm and made it the epitome of what to teach or what is acceptable, and then the epitome of what is taught in colleges as acceptable statistical literacy and experiment design. And I mean, boomers get upset about FTX, crypto's implosion, because they're basically commingling funds and just buried it in tech jargon and legalese. It's like, well, wait a second, boomer. What have you been doing in actuarial science all these years? Insurance, reinsurance, and insurance for aerospace and reinsurance for aerospace. Uh, what do you think those actuarial models really do? We all know. I mean, not we all know, but come on, let's be honest. They're there to benefit you. You manipulate them with childish lies. If anyone really just took the time to just sit down and read where these things come from and why they're used the way they are, not someone else's like secondhand or tertiary hand account, but like go dig a little bit deeper and find the actual justifications for each thing, you realize like you're furnishing really technical childish lies to justify a career of shamelessly stealing money from people that's essentially printed up. Knowing how it all works doesn't make it make sense. I'm sorry, I sound schizo. It's like an H.P. Lovecraft thing. Like we're like Bloodborne, more sanity, but it's the more sanity that you get, the more you understand how it works, the crazier you sound to everyone. Which is why I'm a giant mecha and a giant mecha VTuber, and I'm a character. This is a character. Please don't uh, assassinate me. Haha. Uh, my coordinates. Assassination coordinates. No thanks. Glad that I didn't. Dragons. They're not even that cool. Really, if you think about it, giant mecha dragons not really that cool. Just as cool to be a giant mecha that can turn into an electric vehicle that's pretty good. Pretty decent. Is given the range, like pretty decent range that you can get around in before having to recharge. I mean, relatively. Uh, I think I'm gonna call it after this one. Otherwise, I'm gonna aim the radiation cannon at my brain. I don't want to end up like John McAfee or Terry A. Davis. But thanks for hanging out. Really appreciate it. My giant mecha schizo posting.